Okay, I'm gonna try to do this a little bit better. Here's the block. I tightened it with a. Don't just use a screwdriver. You know, don't be tempted. There's a screwdriver, Phillips. It is a Phillips head, but use a wrench to tighten these down super tight. I'm not saying break them off, but tighten them down super tight. And now here are the two barbs that the rubber sleeves connect onto. I don't think I'm gonna be able to show you doing this one-handed, but I'll give it a try.
Leave it, come on. Yo, what I said, let's go.
So, first precaution, obviously, remove the positive battery terminal, battery clamp, I should say. So now there you go, it's slid on, you see? It's on the barb, and it's in place. And now I've got to finagle these so that they're not sticking out so far. They should be kind of tucked in. I'll give you I'm gonna have to do this two-handed, so I'll get back to you guys. Okay, battery clamp is on. I'm gonna use I use the same one, even though I didn't think ahead about these extra wires, but anyway, that's on there for now. That's on, at least it has the little plus, so it looks a little bit cooler. And these are tucked in much better, so it'll go fine now with this in place. They're secured. Red positive line is secured there. It's looping around, and it's not touching anything that's going to be abrasive or maybe cause a short later. And I use the same boot to give it protection in case I drop a screw, which I always drop a fucking screw somewhere. Alright, so that's on. I'm going to call this job done. So from the factory 7 or 8 gauge to 4 gauge cables. If you're wondering about why didn't you show how to set up a cable, the lugs or whatever you call them, there's like 99 videos on how to do it, and everybody's got a different opinion. Use a hydraulic, use a hammer tool, use a this, use a that. I did it with vice grips. If it causes a problem later, you know, maybe I'll invest in one of those fancier tools. But for now, I just did it with vice grips. As fat as these wires are, and they're not being stressed to a point where you know, there's nothing pulling on them, I should say. That's my point. So there's enough contact there. And the other thing is too, I don't use the screwdriver. I use the nut, say 8mm. You know, this way you get a good amount of tightness on there. And the same thing for the contact points for the what you call it, so the starter relay block, and also on the battery. I mean, on the other end of the positive line to the starter, I did the same thing. So they're well mounted and everything is nicey nice. So there is the battery. Oh, my Harbor Freight dolly fucking makes life a lot easier. Here's the upgrade. It's your battery cable, starter cable upgrade. Short and sweet. Maybe not that short, but you got an idea now. It wasn't hard, it wasn't complicated, it weren't anything fancy required. It might have been better if I had one of those hydraulic or fancy crimping tools or whatever, but you know, whatever, it's done. And like I said, if it causes a problem later, then I'll reassemble them. The terminal is actually pretty cheap anyway. Oh, I did use a washer where it connects to the top of the starter, because the loom or loop or lug or whatever you want to call it. Let's see if I have another one here to show you. Anyway, the lug that I used, the hole was a little bit bigger than the actual factory hole. So just to give it a little bit more surface area, what I did is I broke off the loop or washer or ring or whatever you want to call it off of the factory positive to the line that goes right to the starter on the positive line. I broke that off and used it as a washer, so that give me a little extra surface for contact purposes. And that's pretty much it. Alright, there you have it. Nice and smooth. Laters.